Belief. Chapter. The statement of Allah. But if they repent by rejecting shirk polytheism and accept Islamic monotheism and perform as salat namaz and give zakat, then leave their way free. Hadith 25. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger said, I have been ordered by Allah to fight against the people until they testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is Allah's messenger, and offer the prayers perfectly and give the obligatory charity. So if they perform that, then they save their lives and property from me, except for Islamic laws, and then their reckoning accounts will be done by Allah. Chapter. Whoever says that faith is action good deeds. Hadith 26. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's Messenger was asked, what is the best deed? He replied, to believe in Allah and His Apostle Muhammad. The questioner then asked, what is the next in goodness? He replied, to participate in jihad, religious fighting in Allah's cause. The questioner again asked, what is the next in goodness? He replied, to perform Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca Mubur, which is accepted by Allah, and is performed with the intention of seeking Allah's pleasure only, and not to show off, and without committing a sin, and in accordance with the traditions of the Prophet. Chapter. If one does not embrace Islam truly, but does so by compulsion, or for fear of being killed, then that man is not a believer. Hadith 27. Narrated Sa'd, Allah's Messenger distributed zakat amongst a group of people while I was sitting there, but Allah's Messenger left a man whom I thought the best of the lot. I asked, O Allah's Messenger, why have you left that person? By Allah, regard him as a faithful believer. The Prophet commented, or merely a Muslim. I remained quiet for a while, but could not help repeating my question because of what I knew about him, and then asked Allah's Messenger, why have you left so and so? By Allah, he is a faithful believer. The Prophet again said, or merely a Muslim, and I could not help repeating my question because of what I knew about him. Then the Prophet said, O Sa'd, I give to a person while another is dearer to me, for fear that he might be thrown on his face in the fire by Allah. Chapter. To greet is a part of Islam. Hadith 28. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr, a person asked Allah's Messenger, what sort of deeds and or what qualities of Islam are good? He replied, to feed the poor and greet those whom you know and those whom you don't know. Chapter. To be ungrateful to one's husband. And disbelief is of different grades, lesser or greater degrees. Hadith 29. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, I was shown the hellfire and that the majority of its dwellers were women who were ungrateful. It was asked, do they disbelieve in Allah, or are they ungrateful to Allah? He replied, they are ungrateful to their husbands and are ungrateful for the favors and the good charitable deeds done to them. If you have always been good benevolent to one of them, and then she sees something in you not of her liking, she will say, I have never received any good from you. Chapter. Sins are from ignorance, and a sinner is not a disbeliever unless he worships others along with Allah. Hadith 30. Narrated Al-Marur, at Ar-Rabada met Abu Dar who was wearing a cloak, and his slave too was wearing a similar one. I asked about the reason for it. He replied, I abused a person by calling his mother with bad names. The Prophet said to me, O Abu Dar, did you abuse him by calling his mother with bad names? You still some characteristics of ignorance. Your slaves are your brothers, and Allah has put them under your command. So whoever has a brother under his command should feed him of what he eats, and dress him of what he wears. Do not ask them slaves to do things beyond their capacity power, and if you do so, then help them. Chapter. And if two parties or groups from among the believers fall to fighting, then make peace between them both. Allah has called them believers. Hadith 31. Narrated Al-Anaf bin Qays, while I was going to help this man Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Bakr met me and asked, where are you going? I replied, I am going to help that person. He said, go back, for I have heard Allah's Messenger saying, when two Muslims meet each other with their swords, both the murderer as well as the murdered will go to the hellfire. Said, O Allah's Messenger, it is all right for the murderer, but what about the murdered one? Allah's Messenger replied, he surely had the intention to kill his companion. Chapter. Zulm, wrong of one kind, can be greater or lesser than that of another. Hadith 32. Narrated Abdullah, when the following verse was revealed, it is those who believe and confuse not their belief with wrong worshipping others besides Allah. 6. 83. The companions of Allah's Messenger asked, who is amongst us who had not done injustice wrong? Allah revealed, no doubt, joining others in worship with Allah is a great injustice wrong indeed. 31. 13. Chapter, The Signs of a Hypocrite. Hadith 33. Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, the signs of a hypocrite are 3. 1. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. 2. Whenever he promises, he always breaks his promise. 3. If you trust him, he proves to be dishonest. If you keep something as a trust with him, he will not return it. Hadith 34. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr, the Prophet said, whoever has the following for characteristics will be a pure hypocrite, and whoever has one of the following for characteristics will have one characteristic of hypocrisy unless and until he gives it up. 1. Whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. 2. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. 3. Whenever he makes a covenant, he proves treacherous. 4. Whenever he quarrels, he behaves in a very imprudent, evil, and insulting manner. Chapter, To establish the Nawafil voluntary prayers on the night of Qadr is a part of faith. Hadith 35. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's Messenger said, whoever establishes the prayers on the night of Qadr out of sincere faith, and hoping to attain Allah's rewards not to show off, then all his past sins will be forgiven. Chapter, Al-Jihad fighting in Allah's cause is a part of faith. Hadith 36. Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, the person who participates in holy battles in Allah's cause, and nothing compels him to do so except belief in Allah and His apostles, will be recompensed by Allah either with a reward, or booty if he survives, or will be admitted to paradise if he is killed in the battle as a martyr. Had I not found it difficult for my followers, then I would not remain behind any Sariya going for jihad, and I would have loved to be martyred in Allah's cause, and then made alive, and then martyred, and then made alive, and then again martyred in His cause. Chapter, It is a part of faith to establish the Nawafil voluntary prayers during the nights of Ramadan. Hadith 37. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's Messenger said, whoever establishes prayers during the nights of Ramadan faithfully out of sincere faith, and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, not for showing off, all his past sins will be forgiven. Chapter, To observe fasting according to Islamic teachings during the month of Ramadan sincerely, and faithfully hoping for Allah's reward only, is a part of faith. Hadith 38. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's Messenger said, whoever observes fasts during the month of Ramadan out of sincere faith, and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, then all his past sins will be forgiven. Chapter, Religion is very easy. Hadith 39. Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, religion is very easy, and whoever overburdens himself in his religion will not be able to continue in that way. So you should not be extremists, but try to be near to perfection, and receive the good tidings that you will be rewarded, and gain strength by worshipping in the mornings, the afternoons, and during the last hours of the nights. Chapter, The offering of salat prayers is a part of faith. Hadith 40. Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, when the Prophet came to Medina, he stayed first with his grandfathers or maternal uncles from Ansar. He offered his prayers facing Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, for 16 or 17 months, but he wished that he could pray facing the Kaaba at Mecca. The first prayer which he offered facing the Kaaba was the Asr prayer in the company of some people. Then one of those who had offered that prayer with him came out and passed by some people in a mosque who were bowing during their prayers facing Jerusalem. He said, addressing them, by Allah, I testify that I have prayed with Allah's Messenger facing Mecca Kaaba. Hearing that, those people changed their direction towards the Kaaba immediately. Jews and the people of the scriptures used to be pleased to see the Prophet facing Jerusalem in prayers, but when he changed his direction towards the Kaaba during the prayers, they disapproved of it. Al-Bara added, before we changed our direction towards the Kaaba Mecca in prayers, some Muslims had died or had been killed, and we did not know what to say about them regarding their prayers. Allah then revealed, and Allah would never make your faith prayers to be lost. The prayers of those Muslims were valid. 2, 143.